My name is David and I'm here at Anytime Fitness Leading in the back room. I have booked the room in preparation for a PT session with my client Chris. I have made sure the room is clean using the broom provided by the gym, swept the floor to ensure there are no obstacles or hazards for slipping, especially on this smooth surface. I've collected my range of equipment here for the PT session I intend to run with my client. The session will include a fitness test, a chest exercise, a back exercise, a leg exercise, and then a cardio portion to finish the session. The client currently is warming up outside. Now I'll get him in, greet him, and just ascertain any physical contradictions he has to any of the exercises that I have planned.
Ready to go? Good to go.
Welcome Chris to Anytime Leading.
Nice to see you again.
My name's David.
Pleasure. Thank you, Chris.
Yep, you're coming today for a PT session.
Yes. Yes.
We've had you warming up just outside for a little bit.
Yep.
Nice and warm.
Yep.
Are there any exercises that you can't do or any injuries?
Well, I had a knee reconstruction about 14 months ago, and I had a shoulder reconstruction about 7 months ago. So box jump type things are at the moment they're still a no-go, and just my flexibility also needs to
be through your rehab.
Yep, everything's good there now. It's just trying to get the size back onto the slate because there's a real disparity.
Yep. Oh, that's good. So today we're just going to go through, I'm going to do a fitness test with you, which I've chosen a flexibility one.
Perfect.
So since you've had your operation, we'll check how your flexibility is going there, especially in the legs. So we've got the sit and reach there. We're going to go through a couple of strength exercises. We're going to do a push movement with our chest, pull movement with our back, and the leg exercise, which is going to be a lunge.
Sounds great.
So with our push movement with our chest, we've got a body weight push up and one arm row at the shoulder.
That'll be all right.
That'll be okay.
It's just range of motion. That's the only challenge a bit at the moment.
Right. And we've got to finish with some cardio.
That's good. I need that.
I thought we'd use a little bit of boxing since you probably want to take a little bit of pressure off the knee instead of running on it and stuff.
That sounds fabulous.
Do a bit higher intensity cardio without impacting on that knee.
Yes, that sounds great there.
Okay. So first things first, we'll get into our flexibility test here. So if you want to just stand to the side there. Get it set up with this nice heavy box.
Oh yes.
So with our sit and reach with our flexibility, you're sitting down on the mat there. Your legs are out straight with feet pressed against the box there. So just take your feet a little bit further apart so we can put the ruler in there. So with our sit and reach, that is our 0 point. And we measure our results from there. So basically your ability to touch your toes. So if you take both hands and just reach as far forward as you can. So that's the first one, that's -5.
That doesn't sound good. Alright.
So you get another go, so just nice and slow. So it's still -5, so just for this last one, I guess we'll try and reach as far as you can.
Alright.
Have a little bit of a hold there for just 1 or 2 seconds just to... I reckon that was -4 for that one. So obviously 0 is our target, and above 0 is increased flexibility.
So I need to do some stretching.
So something we would look to work on will be increasing that flexibility, especially through that lower part of your legs there, so your hamstrings, your glutes, lower back. One of those things that just happens, that gets tight, especially with weight training, things like that, they tend to tighten up. So
no, that sounds good.
we can look at that result in a few months' time.
And hopefully we get better.
Hopefully we got a bit more movement through there, and you shouldn't have any tightness.
I can hit 0, I'll be good. Alright.
Right, so that's our fitness test. Done. Maybe. So we're going to stand up. Those out of the way. So we'll start with our chest exercise, which is going to be a body weight push-up. So So we'll say it's a pushing movement.
Yep.
It's going to work our chest muscles. Push up also works our triceps.
Yep.
They're aiding us in getting those arms up, and it should help develop a little bit of strength in the shoulder joints too, because they've got to stabilise the movement. So to form our push up,
Yep.
we're going to jump down on our mat,
Okay.
laying stomach down to the floor.
Okay. Yep.
Yep, so we have our hands underneath our shoulders there.
Yep.
Yep, elbows out at 45 from the body, that's it.
Like that?
Yep.
Yep.
So I want you to tuck your toes in towards your body a little bit more.
Yep.
So what that'll do is take a little bit of pressure off your back. So
Okay.
as you squeeze, I want you to squeeze your glutes together,
Yep.
which will hold you in that plank position as you do push-ups.
Yep.
So to do these push-ups, I want to do 10 reps.
Okay. So up,
Yep.
and right down to the ground, or?
Yeah, as far as you can, that's it. So that's good, keeping your head looking straight down. That's good. So yeah, keeping that body nice and straight.
There you go.
Yep, and relax.
All right.
So how did that feel? Did you feel?
It made me feel old and weak, but it felt great.
That's good. So there's no issues with the shoulder there?
No, I can feel it working in the top of my chest. So
Yeah, so there's your pectorals there. It's large muscles
Yep.
across your chest. You should feel a little bit just in the point of the shoulders there.
Yeah, and no weakness or anything in there while I was going, so it felt really good.
Yep,
Yep.
that's good.
Good.
Right, so that's our chest exercise done.
Okay.
So we chose 10 reps there.
Yep.
Build a little bit of strength for you.
Yep.
So the lower reps with your body weight.
Yep.
I feel should give you a little bit of extra strength there.
Yes.
And
There's some extra body weight on me, yes.
yes, and it's functional as well. Being able to push your own body weight is quite appropriate.
Yep.
So that's our push exercise, as I
Okay.
said. We'll move on to our pull exercise, which is going to be a bent over single row. So we'll just set up our bench here. So I'll just quickly demonstrate the setup for you. So we take one leg onto our bench there.
Okay.
We're reaching over with our other hand.
Yep.
We have a slight bend in that elbow.
Yep.
The other leg comes out to the side.
Okay.
So that's our stabiliser. That's what we want is nice flat back.
Yep.
You know, so if you bring it in,
Yep.
stick your bum up in the air, get a curve in your back, and then it's what we don't want.
Okay.
And then all it is reaching down, grabbing our weight,
Yep.
and we're pulling it up into the side there.
Okay.
And we look away to the side just to take, so we're not twisting across our back.
Yep. So as I come up, I'm looking out
Yeah.
with it? Okay.
So I've chosen a pretty heavy weight there, so what this movement will do is mimics a bit more of a power movement for you. So it's heavy weight, so we're going to do 10 reps as well,
Okay.
for strength.
Yep.
And as you pull up, it's like pulling on an old cord, so you've got that little bit of a pull, hold up to the side. And so a little bit of a bend in that elbow, just to straighten up. Yep.
Okay.
So you've got the mirror there as well to use to check your back.
Okay, so as I'm coming up, I'm going to look out, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it, good. Tucking that elbow up against the body as you come up, that's it. So as you come down, just put a little bit of bend in that elbow, and then you come up and you straighten it. So you kind of notice to keep your back a little bit flatter.
Yep. How's that?
That's good. Now you got the other side.
All right.
So yeah, we usually just roll,
Okay.
keeping our toes out of the way, of course.
Yep.
So yeah, set yourself up with that foot nice and wide, yep, so you've got that stability, so you won't you'll be able to look the other way this time. So don't forget to bend that elbow as you come down. So you just notice that, just straightens that back a little bit better. It's good. Put that elbow in nice and tight to the body and you pull up. Yep. shoulder blades
Yep.
together at the top, which is good.
Yeah.
So that's just that pulling, squeezing together, working all those rear delts in your shoulders and your trapezius across the top of the back there. So that one arm movement, especially if you're having one shoulder reconstructed, it's going to help you by equalising your shoulders rather than doing a weight with both hands. You'll find that the stronger shoulder will dominate.
Yes.
So by doing a single arm, you broke down one side a little bit harder than the other.
Yeah. It's they're not quite the same at the moment.
Yeah. So
it seems like everything on one side of my body's weaker.
But you managed to get through with that 20 both sides. That means you're not completely unbalanced.
Yeah, that's good then. Excellent.
Righto. So that's our pull exercise.
Okay.
Move these for you. So we've done our chest and our back.
Yes.
So the next big muscles are our legs.
Okay.
So we've got a compound exercise for our legs today, which is going to be our lunge.
Okay.
Now I've chosen a static lunge, which means you've got less movement in between each lunge.
Okay.
Just to protect that knee.
Yep.
So it's non-impact obviously, but without the constant shifting of weight and everything, we're going to minimise that risk of a little bit of a twist or losing your foot position. So we usually do a lunge with some weights in each hand.
Okay.
They're not necessarily heavy. We don't use them as an added weight for you. It's more for balance.
Okay.
So you have them down by the side as you perform the lunge. So with our lunge, we have to start with our feet shoulder width apart.
Okay.
We take a reasonably big step.
Okay.
So you find the bigger the step you take, the more comfortable it is to lunge.
Okay.
So what we do from that position, we're looking forward, keeping our back straight. We drop, focus on this back knee.
Okay.
We're trying to drop it to the floor.
Okay. So.
So you take those.
Okay. So feet.
So feet shoulder width apart. So just lower it down there.
Lower my knee down.
So lower your back knee down. Just to a point where if you come in and see there, where your knee is there, and your toes are there, we don't want that.
Okay.
So what I want to try and get you to do is take a larger step forward for me.
Got it. All right.
Okay? So what we want is that knee to not come past the line of our toes.
Okay, I understand.
So
like that.
That's it.
Okay.
And back in. So I'm going to go with 12 of these.
All right.
So what we want to do is, we've got lighter weights there. And we want to build a bit more endurance and strength through that knee joint. So we're doing 12, which is straining some of these larger muscles. And some of the small muscles are taking over.
Okay.
So by building up these smaller muscles, you'll develop a little bit more stability in that knee.
Okay.
So we're keeping it back straight, looking forward. That's 12.
And then the other way?
So it's the right knee, was it? That was,
This one was fixed.
That one was fixed.
We'll see how we go.
Righto. So
out.
How did that feel on the down?
It's you can feel it sore and pushing up just behind my patella, but talking to the physio, she was saying that that's the same sort of thing I'm going to keep feeling as well.
Okay.
So just to keep.
So with that knee at the back there, that's activating your quads at the front of your leg. So that's probably why you're feeling that soreness there. And you would have probably felt that front knee was your hamstring behind your leg. So it's contracting to pull you up.
Nothing hurt. It just it feels tight.
So this time you should feel it the opposite way.
Okay.
You should feel that front leg. That hamstring will be tightening.
Okay.
Whereas the back leg, it'll be the quad at the front activating to pull you back up.
Okay.
So once again, we'll have that there just for a guide. That's better, actually. So keep looking forward and forward.
I can feel it in a good way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, I can feel it right down my quads now at the moment.
Yeah, so that's what lunge will predominantly fire your quads,
Yeah.
and there's a little bit in your hamstrings.
Okay.
You're probably noticing it more in your quads,
Yeah.
as they're probably a little bit weaker from as a result of not being able to do some of those exercises you would have normally been doing before surgery.
Yep.
So obviously that's something. It kind of works out to what we found out before in our fitness test.
Yeah.
Your hamstrings are probably still quite strong
Yeah.
and quite tight,
Yeah.
whereas your quads are a little bit weaker.
Right.
So because the hamstrings are strong and the quads are weak, they're pulling tighter, probably not as flexible.
Okay.
So it's kind of working out with what we're seeing here toward our test.
Yep.
So it becomes a case of not only lengthening our hamstrings for our test, but also strengthening the quads to help aid that lengthening.
And keep doing those will help you with that, won't it?
Yeah,
Good.
so that will strengthen through your quads here.
Yep.
And because it's slightly, although we did a static lunge,
Yep.
it's still a compound movement that's slightly unbalanced. So your core's activated through the bottom half here to hold you from falling one way or the other and keeping up that straight back. You would have noticed it's just activating through your hip flexors
Yes.
through here,
Yep.
which it's all stability, it's all small muscles that aid in keeping that leg straight when you're running and things like that.
Yeah.
So a lunge is just amplifying what a run would do.
Yes,
Like big strides.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, good. No, that's excellent.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Make sure they're out of the way.
Yep.
So our last section again to our strength.
Yep.
So we usually start with our strength in our PT sessions because the muscles want fuel.
Yep.
So while they've got fuel from what you had for lunch or breakfast, they've got the fuel there to maximise building those muscle strength.
Okay.
We finish off a little bit of cardio, get the heart rate up, hit that fat burning zone.
Sounds good.
So you get a little bit of mix of everything.
Sounds good. Okay.
So we're going to do some boxing.
All right. Cool.
First of all, I'm going to teach you a little bit of technique.
Okay.
Yeah,
Put them on first.
Yeah, I'll get to put them on. So what we do first is a little bit of shadow boxing. So you won't be, when we do it properly, I'll have the pads on.
Yep.
But just for the moment, just to get your technique right. Yep. We'll go through just as though you're punching thin air.
Sounds good. I'll let you do it now.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So for boxing,
Yep.
your right hand.
Yep.
Yep. So you'll have a natural stance.
Yep.
So your left foot will be forward.
Yep.
Your toes, if I'm facing you, your toes will be pointing to me.
Okay.
That right foot at the back there,
Yep.
bit like our lunge, a little bit of a step back.
Okay.
And we point it out 45 degrees from the body.
Yep.
So that should be a nice stable position.
Yep.
We have our gloves up beside our chin.
Okay.
So as though you're in a real fight, protecting that face.
Got it.
We're going to do 2 punches today.
All right.
We're just going to do a left jab
Yep.
and then a right cross.
Okay.
So with our left jab,
Yep.
just keeping it at the chin.
Yep.
The left hand comes straight out from the body,
Okay.
and this front leg
Yep.
comes up onto the toes, a little bit of a twist. So
Okay.
you notice that the hip
Yep.
will kind of follow that hand.
Okay.
So if you want to have a go at that, that's it. So you're punching straight out, nice and high.
Yep.
So you're getting the next person opposite you in the chin.
Got it. Okay.
Righto. So our right cross,
Yep.
same thing, it's coming out, straight out from the chin.
Okay.
The back foot,
Yep.
up onto the toes again.
Yep.
And you kind of swivel
Okay.
over. So what we want to create is from here to here, have a nice line
Okay.
through our body.
Yep.
And you'll notice coming up on that back foot will give you more power.
Okay. So,
Yep,
like that.
that's it. So try and keep that front foot
Straight.
straight.
Yeah, okay.
And just moving the back ones up onto the toes. That's it. That's good.
Okay.
So you want
So just quicker now.
yep, so you want to give me 5 lefts?
Yeah. Okay. So,
Yep. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
Give me 5 rights. Yep.
yep.
So now I want to put it together.
Okay.
So when we throw it together, instead of flurry of punches like you would normally see
Yep.
people try it, they want to go mad.
Yep.
We want to have a nice straight punch out,
Okay.
bring it back,
Yep.
and then change over.
Okay.
So you're always coming back to what we call our boxing stance.
Okay.
So resetting
Yep.
that position, so you throw that left,
Yep.
come back, change over.
Okay.
And what that'll do is also stop you from twisting through your body.
Yep.
So you're not trying to, if you throw in a left and a right,
Yeah.
you're suddenly twisting that lower back,
Okay.
which can cause an injury.
Okay.
So
All right.
you're going to throw 10 left and rights.
Okay. So left, right.
So that's 2.
That's 2. Okay. So left.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's good.
Yeah.
Comfortable with that?
Yes, somewhat. Somewhat.
Somewhat.
Yeah. No, it feels a lot better than it did before. That's
So
good.
how's the right knee feel?
Yep. Feels good.
Yep.
Feels really good actually. Yep.
Yeah. So, as I said at the start,
Yep.
with this we can get some intensity in your cardio workout,
Okay.
but without having you do running or
Yep.
high impact things like you said, like box jumps
Yep.
and things like that,
Yep.
which obviously you can't do.
No.
So, concerns obviously a little bit with the shoulder, so
Yep.
if anything, feel a twinge or anything,
Yep.
sing out straight away,
Yep.
and we can discontinue this one and go with something else.
Sounds great. Yep.
I think you should be right. If you can outperform the push up
Yep.
and the pulling motion,
Yep.
I think you should be right.
Okay.
So what we're going to start with, we're going to start with 5 lefts.
Okay. So.
Yep. And then we're going to go with 5 rights.
Yep.
Then 10 together.
Okay.
And we're going to build it up. We're going to go 10 lefts.
Yep.
10 rights.
Okay.
20 together.
Okay.
Then 15, 15 and 30.
Gosh, I'm going to be winded. All right.
So that'll get that heart rate going up.
Okay.
And the reason we split into left and right is still to work on your technique.
Yep.
So I'll be giving a little bit of resistance back
Yep.
to you.
Yep.
So hopefully you're getting that nice stretch out and we're not getting a jar on the shoulder.
Yep. Yep.
So if you just throw a left punch for me, just hold it out there. So I'll set my distance there so you've got a nice straight punch.
Yep. Okay.
If I come in too far,
Yep.
you get that jerky
Okay.
feeling.
Yep.
So starting with 5 lefts.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No.
Yep. 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
Now put them together.
Oh, yeah.
Left and right. 2, 4, 6. That's good. Get those feet moving, we'll come over here.
Okay.
So a little bit of movement just frees up those legs. So
Okay.
we'll go 10 lefts now.
Okay.
3, 4, 5. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So put them together.
Okay.
2,
All right.
The last lot.
Okay.
So taking up another 15 left. 7, 8, over halfway. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Oh yeah. Good. Sorry, I was in the zone.
That's good. So 15 right. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Okay. And back and forth.
Yep, 30. Big lot. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Good.
Oh, I got to do a rhythm there at the end.
Yeah, that's good. So now you got more comfortable.
Yep.
So the feet were moving a little bit.
Yep.
So it's one of those things that takes time.
Yep.
To develop that foot movement, keep it moving, but it's good. With those lefts, you'll come nice and strong.
Okay.
So that means your footwork's working quite well.
Okay.
If your feet aren't moving with that left one, it's just a little powder puff punch.
Good. Yeah.
So that was good. You had nice, and you kept your strength up the whole way through.
Good.
Which is good. Taking that time to slow it down, hit harder,
Yep.
means your muscles are working. It's as though instead of instead of sprinting across flat ground, you're going for a run uphill.
Feels nicer anyway.
Yep. So that's our cardio session.
Excellent, okay.
All nice and hot and sweaty.
I am now, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just remove those gloves. I'll do that.
Thank you. Alright, there you go.
I'll just pack these away. So
Yep.
that concludes today's session.
Okay.
So, everything feeling okay?
Yeah, it feels really good actually.
Yep.
Yep. My body feels nice and warm at the moment as well, which is good.
Yep.
I feel like I've done something.
Yep, right. So I had you warm up before with
Yep.
the treadmill, or on the bike actually,
Yep.
as per your physio instructions.
Yep.
So what do you normally do for a cool down?
Usually I'll do a bit more of a ride on the bike, and
Yep.
after that I'll do some stretching to try and go across the body, and also that way, just to try and do a bit of stretching as well. So you're suggesting a few also for my hamstrings?
Yeah, so some hamstring stretch would be good at the end. So obviously jumping the bike.
Yep.
Maybe just a little for a cool down, maybe something on the treadmill,
Yep.
which can just change up those legs. So in the bike situation, the legs tend to be kind of tucked up like that.
Okay.
Which means the hamstrings are always a little bit,
Got it. So a bit of a walk on the ride of the treadmill then?
a little bit of walk on the treadmill, so
Yep.
you're kind of stretching out
Yep.
those legs a bit.
Okay.
Which again, don't have to be too hard, it's just going to cool you down after your heart rate's up from boxing.
Yep.
So you go out, have a little treadmill walk,
Okay.
and then go and do your stretches.
Sounds fabulous.
It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure as well. Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
As personal trainers, we often conduct exercise regimes for clients with special needs. They may have an illness or an injury that we need to be aware of before prescribing exercises in a PT session or as part of a program. One of these conditions is high blood pressure or hypertension. It is diagnosed as having a resting blood pressure of 140/90 and is becoming increasingly prevalent in Australian society. So we need to avoid placing greater stress on the heart by limiting some of our actions with our exercises. Weight training is not ideal because it can often cause a maximal effort of blood to pump to a certain area. So if we do consider weight training, we limit the amount of weight, we look at sub-maximal efforts and deal with muscular endurance and toning rather than building strength and size. So we choose lighter weights with mid-range reps of about 12 to 15. When conducting aerobic activity with someone with hypertension or high blood pressure, we must limit their percentage of their heart rate. So we look at 50 to 60% rather than 65, which we consider the fat burning zone, as this can often place great stress on the heart. So because we've reduced the percentage of our intensity, we need to make the exercise longer for the client to feel the same benefit. Also, with some of our exercises, whether they be weight or aerobic, we must keep the limbs lower than the level of the heart. This is so the heart is not required to push the blood against gravity, causing greater stress, even though it may only be pumping a small amount of blood. When we train clients with hypertension, they can sometimes be on medication that reduces their heart rate. So heart rate monitors may not be the best option for examining what level they're working at. We look at the rate of perceived exertion from the client's perspective, as this is the best indicator from them as to how hard they are working. And once again, we want to limit that to about 50 to 60%. Clients often come in experiencing lower back pain. So this can be categorised in two different ways. Some of it is muscular, whereas some of it is skeletal. So muscular pain in the lower back is often a result of having poor core strength or tightness in the lower back muscles. So these work hand in hand. So developing one and stretching the other is the combination PT personal trainers would use to alleviate some of this pain. So we can perform core strengthening exercises like planks or crunches that do not place great stress on the lower back as it is tight, whereas a sit-up will often cause pain in the lower back. And we can use equipment such as a Bosu ball or a towel under the lower back, or something like a fit ball, which can provide that support for that curvature of the lumbar vertebrae, whilst also allowing greater movement through the core muscles whilst developing them. skeletal pain is slightly different, as it is often a result of discs in the spine scraping together or the synovial fluid being reduced, which means that they experience pain, the pain that is, that is chronic. So it's difficult to train these clients because discs are compressed and will feel pain through their range of motion. So once we can strengthen the core muscles and alleviate the muscle tightness around it to improve that range of motion without the muscles putting strain, compressing the lower spine and pushing the discs together. To prevent the discs from being pushed together even more, we completely remove impact movements from their exercise regime or ballistic exercises that may cause momentum to take over, and they may need to stop suddenly or move suddenly, which can create a sudden burst of pressure onto the discs of the spine. What we, as trainers, we can use is heat application, such as deep heat, which can alleviate the tightness of muscles before the client exercises, so they still feel the pain, but it is slightly reduced and they might have a greater range of motion to perform the exercises. We would prefer clients not to take pain reducers or anti-inflammatory tablets, as this can often mask the pain whilst exercising, and although the client may say they do not feel anything, they may be hurting their body in a way that we cannot tell, and therefore causing greater damage whilst we're trying to correct the problem. Clients often present to personal trainers with an injury that is being caused from other pursuits. They have often had surgery and need rehabilitation with the help of a physiotherapist. I have chosen a knee injury as the client I had before has had a knee reconstruction. So knee injuries can include chronic knee injuries like lack of synovial fluid, patellar tendonitis, or they can have recovery from surgery like a knee replacement or dislocated knees. So chronic injuries are often a result of overuse or poor technique from the client. This is often seen in things like runners, where they're constantly impacting their knee joints and may have imbalances in their muscles. So we need to examine which exercises cause the greatest inflammation for the client and why this is happening. So if they are being aggravated by impact injuries such as running, then we must remove these from our exercise program, as these will only aggravate the problem, and such pain will cause the client to desist from their exercise program. So we introduce activities that focus on form of their joint, especially with the knee, rather than power and strength. So this can be by adding destabilising factors such as a fit ball or wobble board to strengthen the stabilising muscles around the knee joint without impacting on their movement. We can also use machines around the gym to control the alignment of the knee through a range of motion. So this makes it more static in the movement and prevents the client from the chance of moving the knee in the wrong direction, but it also allows us to change up foot position or leg position on the machine to target smaller muscles that may be imbalanced as a result of the injury. So the idea is to take the machines and start off with those and then gradually change up the position on the machines, which mimics an unstable environment, and then take the next step and introduce compound movements but in a stable environment. So this develops a large range of muscles around the joint but still in a stable position, before eventually taking the client up to an unstable environment with compound movements to fully strengthen the knee and prevent it from suffering any further injury.